Hey there, guys. How's it going? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today, I want to speak about the four states or four levels of consciousness. Now, there are many states of consciousness, but it's important that we sort of start to boil it down to four in order to understand it in a lot more of a clearer way. And so I'm giving you a few models here, and from there, I will really be able to introduce to you my own flow model of consciousness, which will really help you and make sure that you are on the right path to living in that flow state and being in that zone, the zone of optimal or proximal development, a zone where you're just feeling your best, performing your best, time slows down for you, nothing else matters but the task at hand. You're fully integrated, inspired, in the moment, absorbed into what you're doing, and completely living in pure presence and potentiality. So let's get started right away. So the first level of this is the world happens to me. Okay? Things are happening to me, means the world is attacking me in a sense. This is kind of like a victim mentality, right? It's like everything, I'm always the one to blame. Why does bad things always happen to me? I can't believe this. This is like the world is unfair. Like I've been attacked, I've been ridiculed. That kind of mentality is one of suffering, right? So to me is generally the world of the mind and the ego. You're not living in your heart space here. So when you're living here, what happens is you might feel powerless and you might feel helpless. You might want to rely on other people rather than your own self-reliance. Okay, so once we really move out of this type of thinking, and the thing is, you could have this kind of thinking and still be successful, right? So still it's coming from an ego and a fear-driven type of mindset. So you're driven by fear. You're scared that things will crumble around you, and so you're acting fast, you're pushing, you're hustling, you're working hard to make things happen, right? So this is still coming from a fear-based mentality. So as you understand that from the victim mentality, there's going to be a level of vulnerability. Now, this is my model right here. Okay, victim mentality, vulnerability, versatility, vivid, VIP. Okay, so as we move from ego into a bit more into a lit into a bit more of a linear type of thinking style. Okay, now the linear type of thinking style is the world is happening by me. Okay, things are happening by me. I'm making things happen. I'm getting by. I have this feeling of control over the task at hand, that I feel like I can do things. I feel like I'm driven by things, but again, it's still driven by fear. Okay, so it's like, yeah, I'm making things happen. I'm on an upward spiral. I'm moving forward. I'm pushing past it. Okay, so it's still a hustle, struggle type of mentality. If you understand that there's a kind of a bit of a vulnerability you have to go through to get from victim into versatility. So once you understand that, okay, I feel like I'm being a victim, right? I feel like VICTIM, I am me because of them, right? So you're blaming others, whereas you should be taking responsibility, ownership for your own things. So from there, once we understand that we have to be vulnerable, we have to be with our hearts, we have to be truthful and not live a facade or any kind of a lie, then we start to understand the importance of being true to yourself, being raw, being vulnerable, and being very completely relevant and real with yourself, right? Authenticity comes into this state as well. Well, authenticity is like kind of channeled through this whole model, but this is where it begins, okay? This is where the spark happens in a sense. So once you are in that kind of moment of versatility, like you have all these things that you're doing, but maybe you don't have a higher purpose yet. Okay, so you're kind of like, you're acting on different things, you're experimenting, you're trying different things out. There's lots of things out there to try, and it's happening by you. You're the one who's making those things happen, and you're impacting the world. But still, it's like you're still getting by, right? You're kind of like in this phase where you feel versatile. You can do a lot of things at once. You're good at a lot of things. Maybe you're hyper creative. I used to be here as well. I used to do so many things at once that I didn't find my thing yet. Okay. Now, someone can actually guide you to find out what your purpose is, your higher purpose is, and that can actually get you from a sense of being driven and controlled by fear to be motivated by love, okay? Now, what does love mean? Love means like service, right? Love means to do something for somebody else from a space of compassion, trust, a feeling of like I'm actually, you know, being a catalyst in this world, but also it's happening through me. Okay, it's happening through me. It's not happening by me, but I am the channel, I am the vessel, and through that, the universal source or energy and guidance is giving me all this power and potential, and I'm just, you know, simply living through that vessel, and I'm being able to channel that. And this one I called vivid, okay? Vivid because you see much more clearly now. The only way to get through from this feeling of chaos is clarity. Much more clarity and order. And so this what it kind of brings in the sense of flow is that it is that balance of these kind of states as well, okay? So surrender of the letting go up here completely, and also the hustle mentality or the discipline for you to keep moving forward and getting things done. So that's that flow model that's happening through me. You feel very, you know, spiritual in the sense you have a higher purpose, you have a higher guide, and you feel a lot more in tune. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this has to be the same for religion, but what all that's giving you is like a roadmap. Because if you notice different things like the tree of life, you know, you'll start to notice that different Abrahamic religions and other religions also have their own models that overlap for a lot of the time. So this isn't necessarily, you know, being like, oh, this is only for this kind of people or this is only for spiritual people. No, this model works for everybody. And that's why it's so powerful, right? So even I mentioned the Tao here, that's from Taoism, right? You have this kind of path, and or it's called the way at certain points, like the flow way and the wu way is the new way, right? So here, when you're in the enlightened states, in the VIP doesn't mean very important person, it means visionary, innovative, pioneer, okay? So that means like you are actually, you have a purpose bigger than anything else. Like you're transcending almost, right? So this is an enlightened state. So that's beyond flow. That's like ecstasy, peak oneness, right? So it's almost like likened to enlightenment or samadhi or these kinds of states, right? So if you want to live as me, right? The world is happening as me. I understand that I'm not separate from anybody else, okay? That me and that person over there and that homeless person over there and that dog, they're all me. I'm a reflection of them. And once you can start living like that and you understand that there's no separation between you and source or God, and there's this sense of oneness, you feel this total absorption. So whenever you feel frustrated, you come back to that infinite realization of like, hey, I'm one with everything, right? And so sometimes the collective suffering might even affect my own suffering at times, and that's okay. And we might weave in and out of this model, right? It's not like we're in flow all the time, you see? So what can happen is there could be like a weaving in and out, like you could drop down here and then back into flow and then go all the way down into suffering and then back into flow, right? It can be like that. So I want to actually remind you that this is just a map, and the map is not the territory, as you know, just like the menu is not the meal or the movie trailer is not the movie. And so as you have this map of to me, by me, through me, and as me, now you can start to assess like, where is it that I am in this current model, and how can I rise up? How can I move through the states of consciousness to have it work for me, right? So this is all to me, by me, through me, as me, but it's all happening for me, okay? So this is kind of the 4 states of consciousness. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to my Instagram as well, and I'll be happy to help you move through the states of consciousness. There's a lot more detail that we can go into, but this is kind of a basic understanding in the model where you can really start to understand how to go from feeling powerless to more driven to your higher purpose towards oneness, okay? Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legend.